Hello, on the 12th of March 2026, you're watching SkateCode, I'm StrayF, and this is the second video about my project DEW01, in which we are going to do the actual installation, so we are going more hands-on here. Now, if you don't know what project DEW01 is about, please watch my previous video, which was the introductory video, this one, about what is project DEW01 or what it is about, who is it for. Now, for the need of this project, since we are going to start installation, there are two ways actually to install project Dew. Sorry. So you can install it on a dedicated computer, but I don't have spare laptop to try it on, so this is why I am using a virtual machine. And yeah, I forgot my clock. And I already deleted all my virtual machines, so I'm going to create one brand new, and I'm going to guide you through the process. Exactly the creation of the virtual machine and installing Debian and then installing the actual project Dew. So you're going to see everything in detail, and I will try to explain everything as much as possible without going into too much detail. So by saying this, some people would ask me, okay, but why using a virtual machine? Because project Dew is a terminal only project and it could be installed perfectly on a container, a Docker container, and that's absolutely true. Technically, everything could be installed and configured to work on a container. But the reason I'm going with a virtual machine is because I wanted to get that authentic terminal feeling, which we used to get in the 90s with the DOS terminal. So this is why we are going to create a brand new virtual machine right now and use it. And this video assumes that you know what is a virtual machine. However, if you don't know, do let me know in the comments and I will make a separate video which would explain a little bit what is a virtual machine without going too much into the details as for new users, and what do we use the virtual machines for and what do we do with them. Now, as I said, this video assumes that you know what is a virtual machine. However, if you are on Windows, you have two options to get software to create virtual machine. One is the VMware Workstation, which is probably one of the oldest softwares around about virtual machines. And in 2006, that was the first software that I came upon to create and use virtual machines. So this is very old, very stable, very mature. However, one option which is better for beginners is VirtualBox by Oracle. And as far as I know, most people on Windows would use VirtualBox, which is fine. However, I'm not on Windows, I'm on Linux. And this is why I am using Virtual Machine Manager, which goes with libvirt behind the scenes. So without going into technical details, let's start. So I'm going to leave the microphone and get hands-on and create new virtual machine. Now, here is where we choose the image file of what we are going to install. And by saying this, I totally forgot and I apologize about that we basically need three main components in order to create project Dew. So one is the actual code, which resides in my GitHub repository. So the URL for The project is github.com/straypharaoh/dew-linux. I'm going to actually copy this in a text editor for you to see it a little bit better. Office, 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 and Writer. And Control V. And let's... Right. So this is the actual URL for Project Dew-linux. I've put fairly good installation instructions, but I assume that you already have the basics. So virtual machine software is the second thing that you're going to get. I already explained what's available for Windows, what you can get for Linux. And the third thing is the operating system, which in my case I chose Debian Linux, which you can get in the from the official Debian Linux website, which is debian.org. You can click here to download Debian. I'm not going to do that because I already downloaded it. So once you get it, and I would like to point out, Project Dew-linux is specifically created and tested on Debian 13.3.0. So once you get it, you create new virtual machine. Again, I'm clicking here to create new virtual machine. Now I have to choose the ISO image of the operating system. So let's choose a file, and the file is pre-selected for us. And now here I have to say what this is. Sorry. This is Debian 13. So let's continue. Now, default settings for memory and CPU. I don't want anything fancy out of the virtual machine, so we are going with the defaults. The only thing that I will change is the default storage for the virtual machine. I don't need 20 gigabytes, so I'll leave it to 16. Let's go. And let's give a name to our virtual machine, which would be Dew. And let's click Finish. And now Debian started. Let's resize the window a little bit. We can go with the graphical install, but since Project Dew is all about the terminal, I don't see a point. Let's go with the terminal installation, no graphical install. And here we are. This is the installation of Debian 13. So we are choosing language for the installation. Let's go with English. Now, which country I'm in? I'm in Bulgaria, so let's go to Other, Europe, and Bulgaria. Default locale, I'm staying with the default here. Keyboard configuration, let's choose the default. And installation started. Okay, one very important thing to point out. We are installing Debian on a virtual machine. This is why the installation is going to be much easier, because the installation, the virtual machine will tell Debian that we are using internet from the LAN port. So we are not going to do Wi-Fi configuration here. And that's why everything is going to be a little bit easier and smoother. Also, since we are not installing desktop environment, lots of things would not be installed, and it's gonna be faster. Now we are choosing host name here. I'm gonna type Dew, .local. Now, why I'm typing .local? When you are installing an operating system for your personal use and you don't plan to expose the operating system to the outside world in terms of hosting some service, so you're not going to expose web server or that kind of stuff, it's good to type .local as host name. In case if you miss it on Debian, I think it will ask you on the next screen, but here we are saving time for one prompt, because some operating systems, when they boot, sendmail is going to try doing some stuff, and if you don't have fully qualified host name, sendmail is going to lose time retrying a few times before giving up, which is going to delay the boot up process of your operating system a little bit. And by typing .local, you are lying to sendmail that this is qualified domain name, and it's like this is a full host name, so we are saving time here. Okay, root password. We are going to create the most sophisticated hacker-proof root password. Full name of the new user. Some of you maybe know who is Rich Forrester. For those of you who know, I'm gonna tell you this is a little joke that I'm doing here. And for the username of this user, we are going to choose Forrester. Why Forrester? Well, because the name of the project is Dew, and I was thinking, okay, what could I choose as username for my user? And I was thinking of Forest Dew, and this is how Forrester stuck. And since it's a person name and Rich Forrester came into my mind, I'm not gonna say who is Rich Forrester, you can Google it. So again, hacker proof, very sophisticated password. I really don't care about the security here because this is only for demonstration purposes. So I am doing it as simple and easy as possible for you. Now, partitioning. Partitioning is basically splitting the disk into partitions, basically parts. But we are on a virtual machine. I really don't care about this, so let's go with the defaults. Now, how the partitioning would be done, I would leave everything up to the installer, and I am okay with this configuration, so I'm going to tap enter again. Or here we need to choose yes for the installer to proceed and create the partitions. And now the partitions were created and we are installing the rest of Debian. So far, so good. Next prompt, do we want to participate? Oh no, sorry. This is, do we have additional installation media? No, we don't have. And where to download updates for our operating system from? Since we are in Bulgaria, we go with the defaults. And here we just type enter, we don't have a proxy. Okay. Do we want to participate in a usage survey? No, we don't. And now we choose what components to be installed on our operating system. Now, this would be different for you if you choose smaller storage size for your virtual machine. But in this case, the installer is proposing us to install desktop environment, which we do not want, because Project DEW is all about the terminal. So we deselect the desktop environment. However, one thing that I advise you to install is the SSH server. So be sure that you check here the SSH server, because later when we configure the Gmail support, we are going to need this. Unfortunately, there is exactly one thing which requires a modern browser, which does not exist for the Linux terminal at the moment, and this is the Gmail configuration. And this is why for this step I would log in into the virtual machine via SSH from my host operating system. However, we are going to do the Gmail setup in the next video. So right now, after you choose the SSH server and remove the desktop environment, let's proceed with enter. Okay, now installation of group. What is this? The bootloader. This is where our operating system will get the control from. I mean, from this component. This component will boot the machine and will give control to our operating system to load. So we want this to be installed. We press enter, and now we choose where to be installed. Since this is a virtual machine, the device where group would be installed, the partition is VDA. If you install this on an actual computer, the name would be different, but this is the primary partition of the virtual machine. So we choose this and press enter. I don't know if you hear, but there are children playing outdoors, so you might hear this, and lots of cars. Okay, finishing the installation. Basically, we just installed Debian, and to finish the installation, we need to reboot. Let's go. Press enter. Now we can wait for this, or just tap enter, but done. Our Debian installation just finished. We have brand new virtual machine with fresh installation of the Debian 13 operating system. Now we need to do the first login and proceed further. I'm going to leave the microphone and use my both hands to log in here. So we log in as root and we type our super duper sophisticated hacker proof password. And first things first, this is fresh network installation, but still it's a good habit to just do an update. Good. Now, where to go from here? I created installation instructions, so let's use them. Basically, we are right now doing this. And you can actually use SSH to log in from your host operating system, but again, the whole project DEW is about authentic terminal experience. So this is why we're going to type everything manually. Alright, why I'm doing this? Because when I start installation of different packages, I don't want the operating system to ask me questions like, do you want this, do you want that? I want the operating system to assume defaults. So this is why I said, do not ask me, because think that there is no person installing this, you're going to do automated installation. So now we need to install some basic packages. Okay, what we are going to install. So sudo, if you don't know, this is basically functionality for our newly created user, which is Forester, to time do things as root without for you the need to switch to the root account. Make is installation tool which we are going to use to install project DEW. Git is the tool that we would need in order to get the source code of project DEW. Vim and Vim.nox is the text editor that we are going to use for absolutely everything. Console setup and console data are packages with tools that we need to do automated setup of some components for the console, the terminal. Done. What is the next step? Now, next step, you are not required to do this. However, I would do it because I want a little bit the virtual machine to be more easy on my eyes, and also to make it look a little bit more like the DOS terminal from the 90s. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose another font and larger font size for the terminal. Why I'm putting Debian frontend equals dialog in the front? Because this time I actually need the tool to ask me. And here we are staying with UTF-8. However, we are going to choose Cyrillic Slavic languages with Bosnian and Serbian Latin. Why? Because I'm in Bulgaria and we use Cyrillic alphabet here. Now, font, the default is fixed. I'm going to go with terminal both, and I'm going to increase the font size to 24. Now, this tool right here, the screen key, is sometimes obstructing the screen, but that's why I'm typing clear, so you can basically see everything looks a little bit larger. Great. Now, next step, we need to set Vim as the default editor for everything. Oh no. Done. Next step, we need to enable our user Forester to be able to use sudo done. And now we are going to get the code for project DEW. We do this with the command git clone. Then we type the URL for the project, which is github.com/straythorough/dewlinux.git, and we set target where the code would be downloaded, which is home Forester, and we are going to create new directory here. My internet is a little bit slower today, so please excuse me. Okay, the code is there, but there is a little problem. And that's the problem. So DewLinux is created by the root user, and this is why it's owned by the root user. So let's change this. Okay, we just changed the ownership of the DewLinux project code to be owned by Forester. As you can see, it's owned by Forester right now. Okay, what is the next step? Oh yes, the next step is copying some of the configurations that I created for the root user. We don't need to do that for Forester because everything would be done automatically. So it's nothing fancy that I'm doing. These configurations basically are just some convenience stuff that I'm using in the terminal. And let's see, I think we are done here. Correct. Now we need to log in as our new user Forester. Super duper fancy hacker proof password. Great. Let's go to the directory of project DEW. And now here is everything, the code of project DEW. We can start installation. If you wonder why I'm clearing the screen so often, this is because the screen key, which is showing you what I'm typing, is obstructing the terminal too much. So I made everything super duper easy by using make. You can type make help. It will show you what you can use. However, so if you never use make, basically I made it so you can just type make and press enter, but you can specify something if you want. So if you specify make base, this would install everything which is listed under the targets list. So this would install main, dev sir and main more. For the installation and configuration of Gmail and the games, you need to explicitly type make Gmail and make games, but it is mandatory that first you install everything else. So after you install everything, like the main components, you can go with the installation of Gmail and the games. So now let's just install everything. We just type make, press enter, and everything would start to install. Now the only thing that we are going to need to type is our super duper hacker proof root password. No, sorry, in this case it's the Forester password. And now we sit and wait. Let's check the time. So we don't need this, but yeah, it's good to remember the URL for the project DEW code. So it's github.com/feral/dew Linux. Let's close this. What's our time? 30 minutes. Great. Still recording, still recording. Still installing, still installing. What are the next steps? Basically, this is the only step. Everything else, like installation of Gmail and the games, I can install actually right now the games, but the installation of Gmail and the configuration I would do in a separate video because it's a process which requires a video of its own. So you now just sit and wait for everything to install. And as you probably hear, my laptop just turned on higher speed the cooling fan because right now we are doing more processing usage and traffic use, so we need a little bit more cooling power. But yes, this is the beauty of it all, that I put lots of efforts into making everything to install so flawlessly and easy. So you just type make and the main components are gonna be installed for you. I did lots of tests, lots of installations, lots of virtual machine creations and deletions until I got to the point where everything would install smoothly. And again, I can guarantee smooth installation only if you install on Debian 13. And the specific version of Debian 13, which I tested on, which is Debian 13.3.0 AMD64 net installation ISO image. For this ISO image, I guarantee flawless installation as long as you install on a virtual machine. Now, if you install on an actual computer, probably there could be a little bit additional steps with installing Wi-Fi and probably other components. But when installing on a virtual machine, the installation will be really smooth. As you can see, I'm just sitting and waiting for everything to finish. And while we are waiting, so I created documentation in the form of HTML files. Now these files are fully available when you install Project DEW. When you type help, I created a shell script for that, and you would be able, even if you're not connected to internet, to browse the help. And I put lots of efforts to explain things, to list what's available, shortcut keys for some stuff that I pre-configured. Basically, I made it very user-friendly for you. So this is going to install lots of things, and initially the development tools were not supposed to be installed along with the main components, but the only reason why I am installing the development tools with the main components is because there are some really cool projects which are written in Rust, which I found on Reddit in the command line and the TUI subreddits, which I am downloading right now and installing. So that's why I decided to move the installation of the development tools to the main components, because later I'm installing some additional stuff using the Rust cargo installer. As you can see, this is exactly what's happening right now. So in this video, I'm going with you over the installation of Project DEW, and I'm explaining the details, and the next videos are going to show you how you can use everything which I installed. Exactly the video that I'm going to do probably tomorrow is the video which will show installation and configuration of Gmail. And after that, I'm going to show you exactly how you can use everything which is installed. So this video will finish after we finish the installation of the games. Next video would be installation and configuration of Gmail account with Neomut email client, and next I'm going to show you how you can use this. So, as I explained in my previous video, many people would go with modern terminal like Kitty and a lot more fancy stuff installed, which would make your life even easier. But again, the core principle when I designed the Project DEW was nostalgia for the DOS era. So this is why I stuck with the most basic terminal. So you're watching 8 colors terminal. Yes, mouse support is already available, so you can use mouse in the terminal. It looks exactly like the mouse pointer we used in DOS, which is just a rectangle. We are very close to the end, by the way. So what's happening right now is that I'm pulling code from the repositories of other people. These are projects, cool projects that I've seen posted on the command line subreddit, and I'm installing right now using Rust. Yeah, okay. My internet is a little bit slow today. Hope that this will not affect this installation. But I think that we are very, very close to the end right now. Yeah, it's not super fast, but it's super smooth. Already 40 minutes, and keep in mind that I actually launched the stopwatch a few minutes after I started talking, so we are 40 minutes for sure. The first video that I created, which was benchmark about the installation speed of Project DEW, was a little bit faster because these components that I'm installing right now, these projects, were not present back then. So this is why it's taking a little bit longer today, because I'm installing more things. And as you can see, this is the actual CPU usage of the virtual machine. So right now it's pulling another package of the internet, and as you can see also, you're watching live compilation of Rust code. So it's taking a little bit of time. But again, we are very close to the end of the whole installation procedure. And also, I took some time to talk, so that's why I wasn't fast on some prompts, which took additional few minutes. So in reality, if at home you will be faster than me and would install it faster. And if you have faster internet than me, you're going to install it much faster. And I think actually this is the last project that the installer is going to download and install, the last Rust project. So this is gonna be really the last step, I think. Now, something that I could do to speed up the installation drastically is to have this code downloaded and shipped with the project DEW. But this code is not mine. These are projects created by other people. And the correct way for an installer to behave is to download additional code from its respected repository. This, of course, have the risk of breaking the installation if we lose internet connection, or if the code for some reason was changed and not working anymore. But again, the correct way for an installer application to behave is exactly what my installer is doing. Download code, compile it, install it. If something breaks, it's not because the installer broke, it's because the code was changed. But okay, everything is fine. We just installed the main components. Now let's install the games. Sorry, we're not on focus. And we can type enter. This is gonna be significantly faster because we are installing just few terminal games. If you noticed, what I just installed is Stockfish. Stockfish is the world's strongest chess engine, so you're gonna get it with this installation. And if you watched my previous video where I did demonstration, I installed chess-TUI, which is a front end. This is exactly what's being installing. This is exactly what I'm installing right now. So this is a front end for different chess engines, and I am pre-configuring chess-TUI to work with Stockfish. So when you launch it, you're gonna play chess against the world's strongest chess engine. Good luck with that. Soon we're going to hit 50 minutes, and this does not include the installation and configuration of Gmail, which again we're going to do in the next video because it's gonna take more time and it requires separate video because I'm going to show additional things which more people don't show you. Done. So this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, was the installation of Project DEW. Oh, we are not on focus again. So we just installed everything, absolutely everything, except Gmail. So this includes the NewMod email client and few other tools which we are going to need to make our email client to work with Gmail. For the last time, I'm going to do this in the next video, probably tomorrow. So be sure to watch it. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. We just installed Project DEW. The one last thing that we are going to do is log off. So Control D. And let's log in as our beloved user with the super duper hacker proof password. And now, as you can see, we already have some colors. Great. Thank you very much for watching. I'm StrayF. You're watching SkateCode, and you just witnessed the installation of Project DEW Linux, which I created. So we went over the entire installation. I'm going to post my video here on my repository README and on my YouTube channel. And in the next videos, I'm going to show you more stuff. Thanks for watching. This is everything for today. If you missed my introductory video, please watch it. And stay tuned for more Linux videos and probably more Python videos. Have a nice day. Goodbye.